No, man, there's no shame to my game at all. That's a fair question. And by the way, it's not you're not the only person who's asked that question. That guy you see behind you, that's Pete Dickerson. I fought him professionally in Tijuana, Mexico, in the Palenque, which is the rooster fighting arena that they have. But you should have seen it. There was glass bottles broken all over the dressing rooms, and walking to the ring, if you didn't have flip flops on, you'd be in a lot of trouble. And then I fought Pete Dickerson 2 months later, amateur in Whittier, California. But you'll notice, even when we're fighting amateur back there, you can see us. There's no shin guards, there's no headgear. I mean, it is a full-blown pro fight by today's standards. So, amateur and professional got really blended back then. The other thing that's really important is my book, Warrior of the Light, is a guide for young fighters so they don't make the same mistakes I did. The fight game is a very, very nasty Machiavellian game, right? It's like the criminal world. And you will get used in that fight game. I got used plenty, right? Like that's what people do in this world, and especially what they do in the streets, or, in the fight game. And I can tell you that I was not ready for that fight in Tijuana with Pete Dickerson. I was a karate guy, and I was excellent as a karate guy. I mean, I had just been ripped off in regionals, but I took third place. I was on the rise in karate, but my desire in martial arts was always to be a fighter. But back then, guys, the plethora of fight gyms that are around now didn't exist, right? So when I found out there was a guy, supposed Muay Thai coach in my town teaching lessons, I showed up and I was ready to go. Now, in fairness to Marshall Hamill, that's the guy you see rubbing my back, he didn't know anything, but guess what, guys? Almost nobody knew anything back then. The fight game itself was not developed the way it is today. We can all thank the UFC for that, right? Now, young kids that are athletic, they know Muay Thai better than, most of the pros back then. It's a whole different world today than it was then. But one thing that hasn't changed, I guarantee you this, is human behavior, which is why I think my book is a good guide for aspiring young fighters. So, was I a pro? You could say yes. What was my record? 0-1, right? And then I had an amateur kickboxing career that, I could talk more about too. But to be honest with you guys, I was involved in a criminal world then. So fighting to me was something that I did to prove my toughness and my mettle and all that. I wasn't really training to win. I didn't know what hard training really was until I went away to prison the first time. And then you realize what it is, to be a monk in a silo trading for a fight, and that's all you're doing. But yeah, man, legit question. No offense taken here. I hope you understand the answer and like it. If you want to know more about me or my career, it's all in my book, man, Warrior of the Light.